Hey you guys, Jamie here with Milk Allergy Mom. We have a special treat for you guys tonight. We are doing our first split screen mom to mom food allergy interview here in our Facebook page. I'm hoping that this is going. I might have to restart it because I don't see anybody on yet. Oh, there's two people. Okay, it looks like we're good to go. Sometimes I have to restart it 1 or 2 times. So if you're on, be sure to say hi and let us know where you're tuning in from. There's Jessica, yay! So I sent out an email even to let all of our email lists know that we were getting ready to do this because I think that this is going to be a really, really helpful conversation tonight. I'm going to bring Jessica on in just a second. I will just let a few people pop on and let you know what we're talking about if you did not get the email. So Jessica is a fellow blogger. Hi to Beth. Good to see you, Beth. Hi, Cheryl. So excited to have all you guys. I think you're going to love tonight's topic. Just from hearing different allergy moms here in the page and in our private group. I know that, hi to Jasmine, I know that the holidays are stressful for any mom, but especially for a food allergy mom. We have Thanksgiving behind us. We had everything in our private group from a food allergy reaction in the ER to a new baby being born. So we had all kinds of emotions going on Thanksgiving in our small little group, and I'm sure that we had a lot of different things going on here in for Thanksgiving and with all of our big group here. So a holiday can be a mixed bag, but we still have lots of celebrations and Christmas and everything coming. So I'm going to get Jessica on and we'll talk about why we wanted to do this video. We literally planned it today, you guys. It was in the back of our minds, but we literally decided to pull the trigger today. So just so you know, we don't prepare too much ahead of time because we like to really make it real life, right? Okay, let me see if I can get Jessica on. I can get you on, Jessica. All right. We're going to talk about, there she is.
Hi.
Good on sound and everything?
What's that?
Excellent. I said, sounds like sound is good. Is your internet connection okay, girly? You froze up.
It's okay. Is it better? Here, let me.
Hold on, I think Jessica's getting some kinks worked out. I'm going to see what Cheryl said. Oh, you get your little kinks worked out real quick. Cheryl says it's a wonderful holiday, but not without its ups and downs. Exactly. Exactly. The holidays are great, but we definitely want to make sure that we can handle the stress that comes with it and some different techniques. All right, Jessica, are you trying to find a good internet connection?
Yeah, is this a little bit better?
That is better. Yeah, you were freezing up earlier, but you're good now.
Okay, well, sorry about that. I'm so glad to be.
That's okay.
I'm going to just rearrange my station so I can see y'all easily, but we can go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Well, you get yourself set up, and I'll tell them about how we just ran into each other and not ran into each other, how we got to hang out in Nashville just the other day. So I'll just let them know real quick how we met. Jessica and I went to a bloggers conference in Nashville a year ago, and it was so funny because we were in a house together with like 9 bloggers, and we realized that we were both stressing about our food allergy kiddos that we left behind states away at home. And we compared notes and realized that we both had kiddos with severe milk allergies. Like literally our first conversation was sharing anaphylactic reaction stories, right?
Now, I actually knew who you were, Jamie, because you're kind of famous. So I was actually kind of excited to meet you. Didn't know who I was. But yeah.
Well, that's
so
crazy.
I know, but it was neat kind of having that kindred spirit because you're so far away from your kid. It's super stressful and you feel like no one really understands. And so I think both of us were like almost about ready to cry because it was like, you too worried about your kid right now too. So yes, that is how our story.
that is our story. And we got to hang out a lot. And then we got to go back to the blogger conference this year.
Yes.
And we said, hey, we are getting this Facebook Live thing figured out. I said, we thought, let's do it together sometime. And because you blog at smartereachday.com.
With two T's each day. Yep. .com. And yeah, we have some shared, obviously, just aligned views. And now I've been in your private group, which I love. Shout out to the private milk allergy. So yeah, but you know, one thing you said to me, Jamie, my blog, I talk about a lot of like motherhood and kind of some general topics. And you said, like, I appreciate kind of the perspective that you bring about what it's like for a mom. Yours is sometimes a little more practical, like here's like resources, great foods, and you know, and so but mine can be more personal about, you know, what it's like to have a kid with allergies. So yeah, like just a little bit about me and my story. Like I have 3 kids. I homeschool them. They're 8, 6, and 3, and our oldest son, who's 8, has the severe food allergies. And we've had several really, you know, scary experiences with him. I'm glad that we stay home and homeschool, not just for that reason, but that's, you know, part of our story and our life. And so yeah, like I have had a blog for about 8 years, and I speak about food allergies and also just, you know, motherhood life. So have a book coming out in a year and a half. That's exciting.
That is I am so excited for you, because when we went, a little bit off topic, when we went to the blogger conference last year, you and I were both like trying to find our way. Like we knew that we had a voice and that we wanted to help moms and our community somehow. And we were just kind of like, you know, like you said, we all have different strengths and gifts to offer. And it was just like, what is ours? We want to do something. We've been doing something with our blogs for 8 years. We've been doing it about the same time. And so that conference was really helpful. I came this year, you came this year, you signed a book deal. And I had this group off the ground, literally like really thought about doing the private group after I went to the conference, and just realized that there's different ways to be a blogger and to lead other people. And so I'm really excited for both of us that we kind of found our niches and our calling.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've kind of asked me to share a little bit about like the mom stressed side, because
yeah.
anxiety. So it's kind of almost funny, but it's not funny. I mean, I don't know if this is the same with you or with some of the other mamas who are watching, but I always kind of struggled with anxiety a little bit anyway. And it's like, God, what the heck? Like, I've got now a kid with severe food allergies, you know, not a good situation, kind of like
right.
a dangerous thing. Because obviously that's.
So you had some anxiety and things like that before you even had kids, before you had the food allergy to compound it.
Yeah, I did. Motherhood, go figure, made it all a little worse. But yeah, I did. I struggled with anxiety shortly after we were married, kind of got that under control. And then we found, I don't know if you guys are like this, but we found out pretty early on that my son was allergic to milk and the other foods. And so from the get-go, it was a little like bumpy, and just kind of like a difficult thing to manage. You know, you're a first-time mom anyway. It's like so much to deal with, learning everything, and then to be handed like the allergy part of it is it's a lot to swallow. And so and we have you know, a couple scary incidences, you know, that I've shared with you and a little bit in our private group too, that required overnight stays in the hospital. So, you know, one time, the most severe of those, I was making breakfast, and this was probably 3 years ago, and mixed up the kids' breakfast. We've implemented a lot of changes since then, But at the time, it was a crazy Sunday morning. Everybody's busy, lots going on. I give, not gave, but it was just kind of a chaos. And so he had the wrong kid's breakfast and ended up doing 4 rounds of epinephrine and spending a couple days in the hospital. Surprisingly, during that time, even though it was my greatest fear, I was really kind of strong and like under control and got it during it. It was only after the fact when you realize like, oh my goodness, like this something so serious. Hi, family coming in, real life. You realize
we like it that way here.
yes. That that can something so simple can set off a really serious reaction. And so just kind of swallowing, like, where do we go from here? How do we go on? Like, how do we live like this? And so the months and days after the reaction, and I think this is a common thing, are really hard because it's like real life. Mm-hmm. How do we change things? You can kind of have like flashbacks or wake up and think like, what did I do wrong? What if this? What if this? How can, and sometimes it's not even all like verbalized exactly. It's just all this stress and internal like angst. And so I certainly empathize with, these moms who have allergies, because I think it's something, that kind of anxiety, not a lot of people can relate to, but we know what that's like. So,
right.
Thinking about kind of how we can talk about this as allergy moms, I had a couple, things that I wanted to share about dealing with anxiety. And you just pop in, Jamie, at any point if you think I need to clarify or you have any questions.
Okay.
Going on my roll here.
Sure. I'll just add real quickly, your bad reaction sounds similar to us. I'm the one who did it, made the wrong grilled cheese with the wrong cheese square. Miles was like almost 3, and chaos a Saturday morning, didn't get enough sleep. So it was my fault too. I don't know if that's different kind of anxiety, that it was your fault or somebody else's fault, but it's always been my fault anyways.
Yeah.
So it just me, because it's the same exact thing. We even had full control, us doing it, and made the mistake. So I don't know what that means, but sounds very similar. And I'm sure lots of moms have made the mistake themselves, and it happens. We're not perfect.
Yes, exactly. It does. And that can feel very out of control at times, because it's like, if I can't even control me, what's our, how do we go on? It's really hard. It's some tough stuff. So in the months and weeks after it was, I do struggle with anxiety. And so a lot of my life I've been like, well, just stop being anxious, and I go through my little tips of like everything from deep breathing to getting more exercise, talking it out, and you just want to minimize that anxiety. But I think one thing I realized with this, and really almost any kind of anxiety, is sometimes it's talking to you. Like it's action is needed in order to feel better first. You can't just stuff it. Like I said to you earlier, if you're in the middle of the road and you see a truck coming, and you don't want to just be like, well, don't be anxious. Don't be anxious. You got to do something. You need to move. You need to take action. And so in the days and weeks following, when I felt that anxiety, I realized slowly, like, I have to implement some changes. I'm stressed because there's some things we can change in our home that can help. The things that we did, that's when we started doing assigned seating. This is where always sits. Your food will be here. We did for a while like color-coded bowls, like you're going to always have blue. And we kind of still do that a little bit. Another start calling companies. I know there's a lot of different philosophies on that, but I just realized, like, for certain things, I really wanted to know, was it on the same line? Do I feel comfortable with their process? So that was a change I needed to make. I needed to be ready, like in my home, like I needed to make sure I had that, always had epinephrine ready, things like that. Like, I think, we feel better when we begin taking action steps that are going to empower us to feel like we are doing everything we can. Now, at the same time, that's not always going to be enough, and that's kind of like enough. But that was a big step, realizing you're anxious because there's some things that need to change, and fleshing out what can we do better this time, so that this prevents it from happening again. So
right. So we're coming to the holidays, and you're talking about how a reaction really stressed you out. Do you think, how would this pertain to the moms? Like, how many of you guys have actually had a reaction? One, I would like for you to comment and let us know if you've had this kind of, like me making the wrong grilled cheese, or Jessica, what were you making, Jessica?
I did oatmeal, and so
Oh,
yeah, it had different toppings, and I used the wrong topping. Yeah.
okay. So I'm curious, the ones that are on, we have several moms on. Have you guys had a bad reaction that you feel like gave you a lot of extra stress? We would love to know maybe what they reacted to, if it was you that made it, if it was school, a relative. We would love to hear if you guys can relate, or if you have some variation of this kind of stories. Jasmine says she has 2 refrigerators, one for her son and the other for her husband, which is something proactive that she's done. That's a really good idea. We have different drawers in our refrigerator. How about you, Jessica?
Compartments in a drawer, and I should probably up that. I should probably implement it.
Gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
speaking to me. I need to make that change.
Gotcha. And so also, if they haven't had a bad reaction that's caused stress or anything, we also really wanted to tie this into the holidays coming. Because even if you've kind of been going along and things are going well, I feel like a lot of moms, when they start to think about Thanksgiving get-togethers, or now that's past us, but Christmas get-togethers or holiday meals, or going to somebody else's house, or people bringing food into their house, don't you think there's a whole new whole new level of stress that can come with that? That's what I'm hearing, and I feel like I experience that too.
Yes, absolutely. So when you feel that general, like, like, and just kind of vague underlying worries, what can you do? What's everything you can do in your control? I'm reading Jasmine's comments here. Yeah.
Yeah, I am too. She says he's had a mild reaction from supposedly safe food, which always stinks because you feel like you can really trust something and then something happens. And so she's terrified of new food to give him. And Victoria says, we were out of town for Thanksgiving and I'm freaking out about Christmas with my 1-year-old. Well, I'm so glad that you got Thanksgiving done well, though, out of town. That's a huge accomplishment to be proud of. Cheryl says she did oatmeal mix up, but realized at the last minute and had to toss multiple bowls, but thank goodness she caught it ahead of time. That's good. So it sounds like the moms can really relate. Another question I want to ask is, with the holidays coming, what stress level do you guys think you're at? Like, if a 1 is you feel like you've got a good handle on what's to come, your stress isn't, you're not really thinking or worried about it, or a 10 that you are really, really feeling a lot of stress, especially with the Christmas coming. And so we would like to see and know where you guys are at, give you guys a little voice in this. It's so fun being split screen, being able to talk with Jessica. I want to involve the moms too.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe you can answer too, Jamie. My stress is pretty low because we will be at our house. So that.
Nice.
How about you?
That is. Mine is pretty good too, because we do the same exact thing every year.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 12 years. What's that?
I was saying that's good because you have taken changes. You've taken steps that make you feel more comfortable. So that's great.
And yeah, it took really taking the steps. So deciding what our tradition and our routines were, and then this little allergy binder that I'm like so in love with, and doing inside the private group where I made check sheets so that every holiday I would have the exact same, I wouldn't have to, it was like an extra thought process to put together our packing list, because we do holidays away from home, but not out of town. and just to have like some nice concrete, I'm a paper person, to have like be able to see my visuals on safety check sheets, packing lists, the menus. I wanted to just to pull out my binder and say, this is what I need to accomplish, so that I could focus on the other stuff, like the fun and things like that. So I know everybody doesn't do that, but we do that inside the group because I'm a nerd like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jamie offers a lot of good printable resources in the group. I'm looking here at Courtney's comment, and I just feel so bad. To her, she says, I'm 36 weeks pregnant and freaking out about my daughter staying with someone else while I'm at the hospital. Oh, I can really understand that. And what I would say, Courtney, I mean, it's not going to all go away, but I'm wondering, you know, have you, you know, implemented, like, when I leave, I'm a psycho, and I'll make all the meals in advance. And then I put on the refrigerator. I know you understand this, Jamie, because you probably do the same thing. Like, breakfast this day is this. Breakfast this day is this. Yeah, go ahead.
You do that more than I do, because when we were in Nashville, you actually had made all the food, and I just had a list for Grandma and let her make it. So it's just fun to compare notes, because we do things differently, and there's different ways to do it. But we both did what we had to do to bring the stress down.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, Courtney, you know, if something like that, you know, would be, and maybe y'all, well, there's a lot of things here. I'm missing some comments, but when you're going away, like, plan as much as you can. Like, I will lay out, here's Thursday's snack, here's Friday's snack, and I'll just make it in advance. That's what I would do. And then it's on a list on the refrigerator. And then obviously, like, having, I'm sure, you know, y'all have, like, here's your written out plan for your caretaker of what we're going to do. Like, just really thinking through, what exactly am I worried about, and can I change it? Like, can I do something else that I'm not doing?
We both had our firstborns have their food allergies. I remember Miles, he was almost 2 when Grandma had to keep him, and I had a C-section, so I was in the hospital for 4 days. But everything went okay. But yeah, it was probably extra planned, even more than I would do now. But we were there and had to do that too. I remember worrying. She only brought him once to visit, but it upset him so much that we didn't do it anymore those 4 days. But we made it through. But I understand.
Yeah.
Cell phones are a lot better now than they used to be, though, and FaceTime. And so hopefully that'll help alleviate, maybe to see that he's doing okay. Or I'm not sure if the child's a girl or a boy, but maybe some FaceTime and stuff like that. But so what you're saying, Jessica, is do something. Some things we have control over to do.
I think when I feel anxious, I really say, like, what else do I need to change? And then there's a point where it's just such a fine line between being anxious because there's something to be anxious about, and your anxiety kind of getting out of control. And some people are more prone to that than others. I am one of those. And so there have been points where I was anxious. I had done as much as I could have done, but I still felt really out of control with that stress and anxiety inside. And again, like, certain people are going to feel that and others.
Right.
But when you get to that point, you know, I always just feel like I need to do a plug for, like, those external things. Like, I would have never, before I had kids, before I had gone through what we did with Sam, I would have never considered taking medication for my anxiety. And really, it's been a godsend to our family to, at certain points, help me to get off of that hamster wheel of, like, worry, 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 worry. Because there's an anxiety that's helpful, you know, that is saying, I love this child, I want to do what I can to protect it. And then there's an anxiety that is destructive to your family. I have been there. And when it starts, and it's so hard to tell, it all, like, is mixed together, you know.
Okay.
Reaching outside for help. You know, I've done counseling, which again, it sounds like kind of crazy to say, but I almost feel like everybody needs to do it, because it was so helpful to really have that verbalizing and really understand how to counteract those negative thoughts when they would come, so that I can be my best self and care for, you know, my family.
I appreciate that about you. That's what when I first started figuring out what you were doing as a blogger, it was a lot of the emotional stuff with being a mom and parenting, things that I don't cover very well. I don't know if you guys know like personality testing, but mine's more like a thinker person than a feeler person. And so you're right. Like my style of helping allergy families is more like safe foods and recipes and life situations. But I love that you are just real and raw about that emotional component and just honest and no shame in just sharing the different things that you have had to do, because you did take as many action steps as you could, and sometimes it just wasn't enough. So are those things that you kind of just have seasons where you do go ahead and take medication, or you do go back to the counselor? Is it like a once and done kind of thing? Is it a once and always kind of thing? Is there like some kind of balance in those extra things that you do?
I think it's a season. You know, it comes and goes. I will probably always just struggle with being anxious, and I will always, I hope, you know, have this my family to care for that can be stress. And so I'm in a pressure cooker, you know, where you've got kind of an anxiety personality, and then, you know, real triggers. I mean, you know, you're yesterday or whatever, Thanksgiving Day, we're sitting down and it's like, I have not made this turkey. I haven't seen this turkey. I am trusting, you know, that there is not anything in there. And, you know, that's hard. When you've seen what some of us have seen and been through, it just is, it's a stress. Like, I don't care who you are, it's stressful. And
Well, it's stressful to not have control over something, but it's also stressful to have complete control over us. You feel like it's all on you. So like, there's no good answer. Either we're stressed that we don't have control over it, or we're stressed because the weight is on our shoulders.
yeah,
Being a mom is hard.
it is, I know. And especially when you have a child with food allergies in this way. So yeah, like, I mean, one, you know, the whole like controlling everything. Um, you know, I know that a lot of people, I'm sorry, my phone's gone back and forth here. I know that a lot of people have different perspectives on faith and, you know, how that kind of integrates into your daily life. I know for me, I just would be remiss if I didn't say that this has been something that has really made me make my faith real. Because when it comes down to it, I've realized like I cannot be strong enough. I mean, look at me. Like, I'm the one that fed him the food. Like, I'm supposed to. Right. I can't be smart enough. I can't be together enough. I can't be present enough. I can be good. You know, I can be 99%, but I can't do it all. And so it's in those times that I have said, like, Lord, I need you to care for this child. And so that's when I'm grateful personally to have my faith. You know, and I know, you know, I have a lot of friends that have differing viewpoints about that, but that for me in this experience has been like such a gift to have that. And I also think, you know, in some ways, I'm sorry, my phone keeps wobbling.
You're fine.
In some ways, we parents who have kids with food allergies, it's in some ways a gift, because we do understand what a treasure these kids are, and just, you know, in a way that other people can't understand. I think we get like, life is short and treasure the moments. And this is one thing I love about you, Jamie, you know, and your family, how you make a priority of making memories with your kids. And so that's something that, like, I've made a really big deal of lately, is just making memories with your family, because I think it's a gift to us. It's a gift to our kids.
Yeah. Oh, you're making me cry, girl. I totally agree with you on all of that. Faith is a huge part for me to realize I'm not completely in control. Do the best that I can. I think when Miles was first diagnosed, we weren't planning this, but it comes to mind. When Miles was first diagnosed, I remember reading, and this little saying kind of came to mind. It's like struck me. It said, prepare for the worst, expect the best, and trust God will bring victory. And I was like, that's what I got to do. I've got to prepare for the worst. I have to be prepared. I have to do, like you're saying, like, do the things that I have to do to keep him safe, but expect the best. Then let's have some fun. Let's save up and go to Disney and eat at restaurants, and let's just have some fun, and then trust that it will all work out. So that's where we are.
Yes, and that's just kind of life anyway. I mean, guess what? We don't really have control anyway over our kids. And I've often thought that, like, I worry over my firstborn, but I don't know, anything at any point could happen to any of my kids. And so you just you do your best, like you said. Um,
Right.
yeah.
It was prepare for the worst, expect the best, and trust God will bring victory. So I love that. I'm reading a few comments. After a bad Thanksgiving, I'm a 10 here for Christmas. Brittany had a bad Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm sad to hear that, Brittany. And then one mom really nervous about going in the hospital, having a baby. Jasmine's always so sweet, encouraging Brittany. Cheryl says she's 50-50 stress, as most of our eating is at home, but navigating others' homes with bringing their own food is tough, especially when they push food on the kids. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, that's a hard one. And one thing I've realized, if I can speak to that,
yeah,
because I think that's a big theme, like in our private group and in other groups that I'm in, is like, how do you say no? Like that stress when somebody else has a differing opinion on what your kid should be doing. And so I have a little motto of my own.
I want to hear it.
Yes. So it's not, I'm trying to think like if it's actually in motto form, but the general gist is be as sweet as pie and say no. Like, so, if there's a scenario where somebody's wanting to feed something and I don't comfortable, no, I'm not going to do that. But then, I'll be so friendly to you. Like, let's talk about something else, and
right.
Be kind. Like, it's nothing personal. He's just not going to eat it.
Right. That's your Southern charm. I love it. I usually just tell people, I really don't want you to be responsible for I really don't want to put that on you. So, and they're just like, oh yeah, that would really stink. So never mind. Trisha says, this is our first holidays with an allergic 15-month-old, and I'm always wondering if my rule of no for everyone is excessive. It sounds like no, not excessive.
I think so. That's me, but maybe others can weigh in.
Yeah, I'm a big no girl too. Freezer meals, somebody said. Yes, I'm relating exactly to what you're saying. Good, good, good. Everything we're saying, well, not everything's resonating, it sounds like. Absolutely, we're thinking to have our boys with someone. Okay, she was talking about the hospital plans, I think. One mom once said it's a leap of faith to trust any packaged food. That's our life. Isn't that sad? That's where the stress comes from, isn't it? Ashley, hi Ashley from the group. She's very nervous about giving dairy to her baby number 2. That's a big stressor, I know, as having a second child.
I know I did it in front of the urgent care.
Oh, trying new foods.
Yeah, and that's
yeah.
Of I'm worried. What can I do about it? Well, I can trial it in front of a urgent care.
I have done that as well. We actually asked Dr. Bob in the group if I told him that, and I thought maybe he'd laugh, and he was like, do what you got to do. Yeah. I was like, thank you for that support. I'm trying not to miss anybody here. Julie's on. Hi, Julie. Our kids are treasures, Jasmine says. All right. Was there any other questions that we wanted to ask the group?
Well, I had, it was like totally unrelated to allergy, so I don't know if that's gonna like change our vibe.
But I think it has to do with relieving stress.
Okay, yeah. So this is a special tradition that my husband and I have. Like, how people are like, don't have TV in your bedroom. It is like the end of your marriage. Never have a TV in your bedroom. So we were and we didn't do that. And then at some point we caved, and we have this special little ritual where we watch usually like some sort of a crime, or not crime, but like an FBI story. I'm like, I don't want to watch This Is Us. I don't want to see families. Like, I deal with that every day. I want to see like, countries being blown up. That's so we always watch a show, and we've gone through a lot of them through the years, but I always love hearing suggestions. We've done like The 24 and Alias and Blue Bloods and White Collar. So I always love hearing like shows that husband and wife can enjoy together. That was my question as a stress relief. So if anybody has any other stress relief, tools, or if they'd like to share their show after the kids are in bed.
That I think that's an awesome question. I love it. I got Jeff to watch Downton Abbey the second time I watched it. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know that Todd would. Maybe he would. I don't. Might give it a try.
Julie says Criminal Minds and Bones. Let's see what any. I wanted to share that I was drinking. I always wanted to know what kind of snacks everybody has. I wanted to show you real quick. I found these chocolate covered raisins at the grocery store out of town, and I was excited about them. They're dairy free, but they're processed, so they're more like a mom thing. But at least they're dairy free, and I don't feel guilty for having them right here.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen them? They're Woodstock. I've never heard of them, and I was at a new grocery store. So
I love
it. Just does contain soy.
Yeah. Wow.
So I feel like there's different categories of dairy free. Like dairy free, I feed it to my kid. Dairy free, I'll eat it in front of my kid. Two different categories.
Yes. Yeah. Enjoy Life needs to get on a chocolate covered raisin train.
They do. I think somebody needs to make a dairy-free vegan Lunchable, honestly.
Now there's the Go Picnic. Have you seen those? You know,
I have, but I felt like there was something that wouldn't work. I don't know.
there was one that we have used. I really think it might be, but we can.
Yeah, we're off topic, but some of the movies, Cheryl says comedy movies. I'm with Cheryl. My family's into Mr. Bean right now.
Like the old Mr. Bean.
Yeah, like a turkey on his head.
Yeah.
It was funny. We all laughed. Actually, Miles gave himself asthma laughing so hard, so I don't know if that's good. What other shows? Anybody or snacks that you're eating? Oh, Hallmark. I don't get, is that like totally cable? Because I can never watch the Hallmark shows people talk about.
Yeah, I've never watched them either. I don't have it.
We must be missing out. They seem really popular, especially at Christmas time. Cheryl says, we are so serious about allergy prep. I need to be silly otherwise. Oh, maybe she was talking about the comedy shows and Hallmark too. So yeah, I appreciate you. I want to recap what we're talking about. So we were talking about mom stress overall. You talked about, and we related it to the holidays coming up, how we can especially be stressed. You and I talked about trigger reactions that can cause extra stress. But I feel like the holidays being here is about the equivalent of a reaction stress, because it can really be, you can lose a lot of control when you're with family and at big gatherings.
Way that it's not regularly, it's everywhere a lot of times.
Right. It's out of your routine,
right.
Basically. A reaction, the holidays is out of your routine. And so those things add the extra stress. You talked about to do things, do what you can in your control to make the environment better, safer, to bring your stress level down. Did we have examples of that? Or do we just want to leave it at that? Just do something.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the situation. There's so many.
For me, it was making an allergy binder, talking to people, separating food out, getting labels. There's all kinds of different things. If anybody has any things that they do that you feel like you have control over doing a certain thing, we would love to hear those too. I'm sure we have lots of ideas.
And I think, Jamie, sometimes it's saying no. Like sometimes we're apprehensive. We just need to say, it's not worth it. You know, we're not going to feed him that, strange food.
Right. Or sometimes we're not going to go to this thing or that. So being able to say no. And then you took it a step further to say sometimes when we do things, everything that we can do, it's not going to be enough. You will still have this big brick on your shoulders. And that's when you need to look outside of yourself to find other avenues for helping relieve your stress. And some of your examples of that were?
I mean, exercise, oils can help. I mean, the big one for me has been when things get really bad to use an anxiety medication. Counseling. Just having people that I have a prayer triad that I will check in. They will hold me accountable to like how can we pray, but also like, is this you kind of going down that road? So having people in your life who can hold you accountable to not get into this mental, where before I would just, it would be all in my head and I'd be so, you know, worked up and no one would even know. So
that's a very good tip. Very good tip. And so, and it's okay for us to have an ups and downs. So sometimes we can just do something and that's enough. And sometimes we really have to go get those extra resources to help us. And it's not like a once and done. It's okay if a medication helped at one time and now you don't need it, or counseling helped and you need to go back. Like, it's okay to be
absolutely.
Yes. Up and down through all that. And that's been working well for you.
Very much. Yes. Thanks. Thank you, God.
Yes. Yes. And so, I had one mom comment, I think it was Christine, said that her child is young and she has a lot of stress thinking about the future. And I can speak a lot to this because I'm a planner, as you guys all know. If I can just have a binder that says what I should do for the next 20 years, I would have that. But I learned really early on, I think it was a part of my faith thing too, like knowing I don't have control. But I mean, I wanted to plan where Miles was going to go to kindergarten, and I wanted to plan what neighborhood we were going to, this is like very early on, like what neighborhood I wanted to retire in and those kind of things. And I really had just like an epiphany moment probably when Miles was maybe about 5 or so. I think when kindergarten came and he still had his allergies, I was like, you know what? I give up. I can't foresee the future. I have no idea how long he's going to have these allergies. I give up trying to plan ahead. Like literally food allergies is just going to have to be a day by day thing. And I would say now that as he's gotten older, things have just gotten more and more fun. She's talking about the holidays and how they might be worse and worse as he gets older. But really for us, it's just been more fun because I let go of worrying about what it was going to look like down the road and just found really fun ways to make the holidays special and traditions that we do every year. And it's our holiday. You texted me at Thanksgiving really stressed, and I felt kind of guilty because I wasn't stressed very much at all because we were doing what we always do. And literally Miles ate lunch and went out and played in the woods. Like, that's what he loves to do. And so part of me was like, oh my gosh, I should be worried, but I'm so glad he's just happy and he's doing what a normal 12-year-old would do after Thanksgiving dinner. And it's a good place. It's a good place.
And that's a testimony to you being a conscientious mom. I mean, that says a lot, you know, because it's not like you didn't care, but
right.
Good steps to care for
right.
your homework. You've checked the boxes. You know you're doing the right thing. And so the blessing of that is a little bit of less worry. So it will never be totally gone. But I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I did the steps that have helped alleviate that. Like you say, do the things that you need to do. Me having those holiday check sheets and going over the ingredients with grandma and having all my T's crossed and my I's dotted. I had that ability to just be like, you know what? I've done everything I can do. I checked on him after a meal. Like, are you sure you're feeling okay? And kind of talked to Jeff, like, should we let him go down so soon? What if his stomach starts hurting or whatever? And we put a few more things in place, told the kids if Miles doesn't feel good, come up, you know, Miles, if you don't feel good, come up real quick. And so took his epi with them. And so, yeah, we made sure all the steps were in place that we could do, and then just trust that everything will be all right after that. But I feel like a lot of the things that happen, we hear really bad stories on holidays. And I just feel like the more we can be prepared and be intentional is what puts us in a good place to be able to handle if a reaction or something happens. We had somebody in the private group who did have a reaction on Thanksgiving, unfortunately. But just being in the group is a testament that the moms are really being intentional, doing their best, and can handle when something comes along because we have our epis with us. We're checking the food. It wasn't anything. They still don't even know why the reaction, but she did the best that she could do and everything turned out okay.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So you are in the private group with us, which is another thing that people can do if they want to alleviate some of their allergy stress.
Yeah.
And I love fiber.
Yeah, part about the private group is that your allergist and father-in-law also, which is cool. How lucky is Jamie?
I'm so lucky.
We'll do these little videos too, and it's so cool to have like that inside perspective and hear his thoughts. You all go through a lot of different topics, and you know he's interactive too. You know, it's really a very unique opportunity to be able to talk with him.
I'm glad you like it. It's so funny because it's just what we've done all these years. He is my father-in-law and one of our allergists, not our official original allergist, but has come on at the allergy office. And literally we literally were doing that after Thanksgiving dinner. I just wanted to like turn the video on and be like, you guys, this is what we've done for the past 12 years. I just pick his brain. He's so smart. And I just knew as I was thinking about doing a group, I was like, this is a resource. I want to share this resource. It's really hard to do in a big group of 10,000. We would never be able to get questions in and things like that. So we're just kind of figuring out the best places for the different resources. And so I'm glad that you like Dr. Bob.
Yes, Dr. Bob. I'd love to meet Dr. Bob.
Did you get to see Dr. Siri's video too?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, Dr. Siri's just as awesome and she's just as willing to help. So I love Cyber Monday and I love shopping it. And this year, like literally on a whim, I was like, you know what? I want to do a Cyber Monday for the group. How about we make it half price? So I wanted to let everybody on here know if you are not in our private group, this is a lot of what we do. We're going to be doing a lot more. You're going to do another video with us inside the group about
holiday traditions, that making memories.
Okay.
Kids. Yeah.
Yay, I can't that something positive and happy, and so we'll do that in time for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Bob is going to be on next week talking about asthma and sickness because I just kind of like choose the topic that the group is really wanting to talk about. Are you interested in that?
Very much. Yeah, we only see asthma when we have sickness, and I've always in my head had a lot of questions that, you know, about why that happens and how to nip it in the bud better, and I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Good. Well, inside the group, I'm going to ask the members what questions they have. So be sure to look for that and ask your questions ahead of time. And we always cover all the questions. And so that's coming Wednesday. And so, yeah, you guys, I'm going to leave you a link. I'm going to leave you a few links. I'm going to leave them the link to your Instagram account.
Awesome.
Right?
Yes, please.
Then can I leave them the link to your viral food allergy post? You talk about how you knew me when we first met. You're the one who has like the viral food allergy post, which is awesome. What is it called again?
So it's called What Parents of Kids with Food Allergies Wish You Knew But Are Afraid to Say.
Incredible. I see it floating around on the internet a lot, and I can't believe we have the author right here in our split screen tonight. So thank you for writing the article that I could never write. You are amazing at that niche of food allergy, just really the raw, emotional stuff that I am not good at. I'm good at organizing us and content and information. You're really good at the emotional side of stuff, and I think we are a great team. So we got to do this more often. So I'll leave them the link to your Instagram account and that blog post, which will show them your website too. And then I'll leave them the link to get into the group tonight for half price, $5 for 30 days. And if they love it, then they'll stay, and that would be awesome. We would love to welcome new members to the group tonight. It's super easy to do. I'll just leave the link and you just do a few clicks. You can even do it from your phone. And it's literally $5 for your 30-day membership. Check it out. It's just month to month. I never do. You know why I don't? Well, there's a lot of reasons I don't do, but I don't do anything. Some of these memberships are like, oh, well, you can get 6 months for a better deal or a year for a better deal. You know what I do? I like pray that nobody has food allergies for 12 more months.
Oh, dang.
Like seriously, I want people to leave the group after 30 or 60 days because, and we've had one so far say, I love the group, but I'm leaving because we tested not allergic to milk anymore. And I messaged her back and said, that's exactly what I want to hear. Like, I wish I could shut Milk Allergy Mom down because we found the cure to food allergies.
Oh.
I would much rather be talking about scrapbooking, honestly.
I love that.
So it's literally just month to month. So $5 for your first 30 days. And if it's not for you, then no problem at all. They can just get out of the group after the 30 days and be on their way. But our group retention is like 98%. The moms really, really are enjoying it. And I'm so, so glad. There's Louise. I have to say hi to Louise because she's one of our members from Australia. And we just had a member join tonight from the UK. So we have a couple UK members, a couple Australia members. And Louise left the country to go somewhere else. And she's been really quiet, but she's always one of my favorites to hear from. So Louise, I hope you made it back home across the world and that you're doing okay. And Jasmine says that she loves, I guess, that we just do month to month in my prayers that people outgrow their allergies and don't need the group. Anything else, Jessica?
No, thanks for having me on, Jamie. And thanks for all that you do for allergy moms. We love you and we're grateful.
Well, you are so sweet. I look forward to doing this again with you. We'll do something in the group, super fun and laid back like most of December is going to be. Are you going to be in the gift exchange?
I just saw that today. I need to read up on it. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, we're having a gift exchange. So it's optional. It's totally optional, but it's going to be really fun. You can't beat Amazon shipping gifts for free.
Right. Yeah, so fun.
And we can ship a gift to Louise across the world for free. Like online is just my jive.
I'm with you.
Just there's so many things that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do so many things online. I mean, a support group was hard for me to find locally. You know, I tried.
Yeah, I did try that.
All right, girl. Well, I'm going to hop off. Thank you so much for doing this with us tonight. It was our pleasure, you guys. Go ahead. If you want to ask any questions, leave them. And I'm sure Jessica and I would be happy to come back and answer your questions for you. And we hope you guys have a great night. This is Jamie with Milk Allergy Mom, reminding allergy parents everywhere that we're in this together. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.